Hi guys and welcome to Tea with D. A big shout out to my friend Pragya who came up with this amazing name. So finally the day has come when I'll be answering all of your wonderful, crazy, cute questions. Thank you very much for sending all those questions and my apologies that it's taken me so long to get to them. But I had to really think about all of them. But now we're here and let's get started. So let's start with the first question which I've been answering for about almost 15 years, which is tell us something about yourself. So hopefully you guys have been following my blog and my journey and know a bit about me anyway. But let me just tell you a bit about my history and background. So I'm 36 years of age. I'm from India. I live in London. I'm happily married and I have a beautiful daughter. I did my MBA in India and soon after that I've been working for like 13, 14 years. But in the last about 3 or 4 years, once we started our family, I felt the need to spend more time with my daughter and also get involved into projects which creatively challenge me and make me really happy creatively as well. So that's how the idea of this blog came about, and I'm so happy I started this question, which is what's the most challenging part you face being a blogger? So I haven't been doing this for too long, to be honest. I started this blog in about April, May of last year. And while it's been all great, I think one of the things that I find challenging is that it's very consuming. It takes over your life. And while people might think that, bloggers just go about their life and click the pictures and post it and gain all the followers, it's really not like that. You have to really put a lot of thought behind what are your outfits going to be, what's the location going to be, how are you going to edit the pictures, how are you going to post it, when are you going to post it, and once you post it, there's a whole lot of questions and engagement with the audience that happens. So while in a corporate job, you would switch off on a Saturday or Sunday, but in this job, you basically don't switch off. So one of those, that's something that I do find challenging about this job. Next question, which is what's the most rewarding part of being a blogger? I think one of the most rewarding part about being a blogger for me has been meeting some incredible people. To be honest, I always thought I'm a creative person, but I had no idea what an explosion of creativity there is out there with, so many bloggers doing amazing, wonderful job, and so many people, so many wonderful, kind people you meet every day who, say the most wonderful, humbling things to you, which is really like makes my day, to be honest. The other rewards as such are still to come, but of course you engage with brands and you feel like you're doing something good that they want to engage with you. So that's also obviously very, very rewarding. And that keeps you going. All right, next question. You and husband, what's the story there? Now you can watch me blush. I'm really like awkward about talking about love story like this, but I will give you a little quick version of our love story. So basically we go right back to 2003. I met him in my college, in my MBA days, but we weren't dating back then. And then we met again when I was in Europe and he was posted in London as well. And that's when we met again and we started traveling. Of course, traveling had to be a big part of our love story. And we traveled across Europe and love had to happen. That's how we met, and then within a year or so we decided to get married, and here we are. I will skip to some travel related questions and come back to some serious questions. So the first question is, what is your favorite travel destination? Guys, it's really, really, really hard to pick one, and to be honest, I've traveled since I was a little child, and it's not about favorite travel destination for me. It's about just traveling. I feel that every place that you visit has something unique to offer and has some kind of a learning that you'll take away. So I'm not going to be biased towards a country and say that this is my favorite place, because I genuinely do not have like a favorite travel destination. The next question is a good question, which is favorite return to destination. Now this I have an answer to. Me and my husband often talk about, where would we want to go back to once, say, we are older and want to spend more time and all of that. So I think there are a couple of places that we always feel that, those are our return back to destinations. Although we like to return back to a lot of cities that that we visited, especially with our daughter. It's a whole different experience going with our daughter. But I feel that a few of the places that I would like to kind of go back and live for a longer period of time are going to be Australia. I don't think I've done justice to that big country. I feel that I need to go back. And I genuinely, thoroughly enjoyed the culture there. It's very like sporty and it's amazing weather for most part of the year. And I really like that country. I mean, I was absolutely blown away by Australia. The other places are probably the Balkans, the Croatia and Montenegro, especially Montenegro. It was such a surprise for me to go to Montenegro, and I never expected to see so much amazing beauty, because you don't really hear about Montenegro as such, and Croatia as well. But it's one of those places that I want to go when I'm like totally retired and I have all the time in the world to sit by the beach and just admire all those gorgeous hills around the sea. Yeah, so those are two of my locations. I will take up another travel related question, which is, have you traveled alone? And what is your favorite solo travel destination? Of course, I've traveled alone. In fact, most of my corporate jobs involved a lot of traveling. I used to be traveling Monday to Friday for most of my corporate jobs, actually, and that's one of the reasons why I took a break from them. But even otherwise, I have traveled a lot alone for leisure, and it's really strange, but one of my favorite solo trip that I took about how many years, like about 13 years ago, was to UK, and I absolutely loved London and Oxford and Cambridge, and I fell in love with this country. So yeah, that was one of my favorite solo travel destination, also because it's very, very easy to do travel in and around UK, because everything is easy, everything is sorted. So even as a woman, you feel safe to travel here. So I think that will be one of my favorite solo travel destinations. Yes. I have a lot of questions around fashion and beauty, but because I want to keep this video short and concise and interesting and not too long, I will do another video altogether for beauty and fashion related questions. I have a lot of questions around my hair regime, my beauty regime, my go-to favorite beauty products and stuff like that, but I will be doing another video for those. Right now I'm going to skip back to about me and tackle a very controversial question, which is, are you rich? I'm glad somebody asked this, actually. So the short answer is no, I'm not rich, but what I am is I'm old and I'm experienced. So I started working when I was about 22, 23. I'm 36 now, and I worked in really some amazing corporate jobs, very well paying jobs. And it's only when when we started a family, I decided to take a break, and only when we felt secure with a single income, and we felt that we have enough savings and all of that, that's when I decided to step back and start this alternative career, which is lifestyle blogging. Next question comes from one of my favorite people, actually, but I decided not to name anybody, so I will keep that to myself. But the question is, what is the secret of your positivity? So guys, it's not that I'm always positive. It's not that I am always the cheerleader of my family or of the world, but I will tell you something. I am 100% more positive person now than I used to be a couple of years ago, and the reason why that happened is because I consciously made a decision to separate myself from anything that was not keeping me happy. At that point, it was a lot to do with my career as well, where I had worked for about 14 years, 13 years or so, and I kind of started to feel that I've stopped growing as an individual. I've stopped learning, and that would really bother me on an everyday basis. And you should talk to my husband or my friends who would hear the brunt of it every single day. But I feel like the day you decide that you're going to be looking at life as the glass half full and not as the glass half empty, that's the day you can make a change. And that's exactly what happened for me. I started focusing on more positive things, and I started feeling like I need to give a more positive vibe out there, and I need to attract more positive vibe, and I need to surround myself with people who inspire positivity. So yeah, I mean, I think certain life changes, if you feel that you're really being bogged down, are important, are imperative to make you positive. And I'm happy that you guys think that I'm a positive influence in your life, and I'm really grateful to everybody who comes to my blog for those positive feels. Nothing can be more rewarding than actually being told that you're a positive person. All right, so the next question is also an interesting one, which is, what is it like to quit your job and follow your passion? Now, everybody can have a different experience, right? But for me, what was it like? I will phase it out for you. So I think initially it was extremely scary. So I even before I started this blog or took this break, I've taken a couple of breaks before, because I just wanted to see how it feels like to kind of explore some different options and do some different things. But initially it was very scary. You're dealing with a completely ambiguous situation at hand, and you're not sure what you're going to be doing. So I'm not going to mince my words and say that it's all hunky-dory. But once you start finding something that's driving you and that's keeping you engaged, and you feel that you're feeling fulfilled at the end of the day, that's when things become amazing. So I feel that initially it was not all great for me. I was like really confused as to what I'm going to do, and very scared, and I went back a couple of times to my job. But eventually, I mean, it's a journey, right? Like, you have to take those steps to make you happy. So eventually it is great and very fulfilling when you know that you're doing something that you're passionate about. Guys, so I'm going to tackle last two questions because A, I'm running out of space on my phone, and B, I want to keep it interesting for everyone. And I'm going to do another episode of Tea with D where I'm going to tackle all the questions that I did not today, and any more questions that you might feel like sending my way, please feel free, and I will do another episode of Tea with D for the same. So let's get to the second last question. So the second last question is, what do you do when you get angry? So I have like very normal human reactions to anger. I shout sometimes, and I blame sometimes, and I cry sometimes. But I think luckily for my family, I get angry like that and I get calm like that. So I think everybody around me realizes that when Dee is angry, give her like 5-10 minutes, and once I get time to think and analyze what's going on, I calm down, and I even apologize if that's necessary. So that's not something that I practiced. It's just something that I am. But I think it's something that some people who do have temperament issues can probably experiment with, just taking a step back and analyzing what happened, what's the situation, why am I angry, asking yourself all those questions, and probably that can help you to calm down. So I'm going to do this last question and then wrap up. The last question is, in this age of innovation, when do you know it's time to give up? So my answer to that is that you don't necessarily have to give up. What you do need to do is keep yourself educated, keep yourself aware of what's going on, and what are the new trends happening in your area of work, and how is it going to impact you, what is the future of what you're doing, and all of that. Have a strong network of people and advisors who will be really candid with you and be like, it's not going to work out, and then assess whether you need to switch or you need to do something different. So that's something that I feel that education and just being aware can help a lot with decision making at the right time. The second bit is the more interesting thing, which is the whole issue of attachment and detachment. So when you start something so creative and so passion led, oftentimes you're just like so consumed, like, it's my baby, how can I part with it, let me keep pumping more money into it, etc. So I feel that somewhere that detachment is necessary. And I can tell you for myself, I mean, I had a business about 5 years ago which was not doing so well. It was good but not great. And I came to a standpoint where I had to decide whether I continue doing what I'm doing or step back a little bit right now, detach myself from it. And I took the second option, and I'm so grateful I did that, because at that point that decision was important. And somewhere I feel that you have to go back to your initial vision. You have to go back to the whole idea why you started in the first place. And if those things are not being fulfilled, and you're just doing it because you're doing it and you're in the rut, then that's not a good enough reason. I mean, I think you should go back to the drawing board and assess ever so often and see that why did you get into this in the first place. And if that is not being fulfilled, probably it's time to give up. So with that, we come to an end for this episode of Tea with D. Like I said, we will be doing more such episodes, and I will be tackling all the questions that I couldn't get to today. But there'll be more such chatty sessions. Please leave a comment. Please subscribe to YouTube, my YouTube channel, and let me know what you think about these chat sessions. Bye bye.